following podcast contains references to violence, death, and the afterlife. Listener discretion is advised. Others. Zach, who lives with his dad James, gets the latest and greatest phone, the Phone 13. This phone sports the latest in chip technology, the Autel i9 chipset, mule glass, and a carbon fiber case. Of course, the best part of all was the camera. The camera on the H13 comes equipped with 8 Mark Hallenblad lenses, a super powerful EMOS sensor system that allows perfect shots in complete darkness and beyond. As the cool ad claimed, and Nortec software to control all of that unbridled camera phone power. Zach loved his H13 with all its great functions and was really impressed with the camera, so much so that he became interested in photography, especially night photography. I am sure you have seen those really cool shots of the heavenly bodies exposed in the night sky during one of his night shoots while trying to get an awesome shot of the heavens in the background and rolling dark clouds in the foreground. It happened. One of those dark clouds gave Zach a near-death experience as a bolt of lightning struck the ground a foot away from him. It knocked him on his ass, and he even blacked out for a few moments. When he came to, the ground as well as his hair was smoking. It took him a few moments to get his bearings again, brushing himself off and getting back on his feet. He checked out his phone to see if he captured the lightning hit. The phone was really, really hot to the touch and smoking a bit as well. But he did get it. A cool plasma burst. When he began using the H13 again, he quickly realized it was not the same as before Thor paid him a visit. Now, when he took pictures, he noticed artifacts in his shots. Strange, kind of blurry digital auras.
Darn, this is really annoying,
he said to himself, as he continued to get those blurry spots in pretty much all his shots. There they are, in the park, downtown on Main Street, everywhere.
Oh man, I gotta get this thing fixed,
he said. But it would be a while before he could get an appointment at the H store with a certified H brainiac, so he tried to Photoshop out the blurs. When he did this and zoomed in, to his amazement he realized that these blurs were not blurs at all, but shadows. Shadows of people. But people that shouldn't be there. They were, in fact, people who had passed on. Holy shit! He even began to recognize some of the people. Like when he took a picture of his dog Mixie in his front yard, he could see his neighbor, Mr. Wright, in the background tending to his lawn, even though he had been dead and gone 5 years. Or Big Bubba, the town drunk, right where he always had been, still there sitting, laughing at his bar stool in the Mariner restaurant downtown. It was actually kind of curious to see living people sit on Bubba, but not knowing any better, thinking it was an open stool. But Bubba didn't seem to mind, and none was the wiser. There were mostly blurs and people he didn't recognize, though. Folks from the ages, sporting fashion from long ago. Zach's little town was actually really crowded if one took into account all of these others. But the other who really got to him the most was his mom. His mom, Elizabeth, had been dead for 6 years, and he had never really gotten over the dread and the hole in his life that she left. But there she was on the couch, in the kitchen, the bedroom, everywhere in the house. It lifted Zach's spirits in a strange kind of way, knowing she was still sort of with him.
I wonder,
Zach thought.
instead of just stills, would the H13 with all its power and magic work for video as well?
There was only one way to find out. He set up his H13 at the kitchen table, where his mom regularly appeared in his shots. Elizabeth did appear exactly at 5 p.m., the time she, during her alive time, would normally sit at the table and have her cocktail to wind down her day. There she was, her aura, her other, or whatever it was, in her sundress, drinking.
Mom, I'm here. It's me, Zach.
He softly spoke to the figure.
Can you hear me? I miss you so much. I never got to say goodbye to you when you went so suddenly. I love you.
Elizabeth was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer 2 years before her death. She was in and out of hospitals and hospices the entire terrible time. In the end, Zach's dad became her primary caregiver right up until the end.
She died in my arms,
he told Zach on that fateful, horrible morning 6 years ago. Zach realized in the footage he had of his mom at the kitchen table that her lips were moving. Was she talking? He could hear no sound, though. Was there a way to bring out her words? Zach had become pretty good at video and audio editing software the more he had the H13. Using the latest SX9 audio software, he was able to first isolate and then clean up Elizabeth's voice.
What?
Zach's body fell completely limp as the shock of those words slammed into his body and consciousness. Zach couldn't sleep that night, as his mind kept spinning as he wondered who his mom was talking about. She died of cancer, right? The next day, he would go back and talk with his mom, Elizabeth, some more. Zach really didn't sleep that night and decided to get out of bed when the sun came up. It was a beautiful morning, and he thought that maybe a ride on his bike would help clear his mind. He liked to ride through town and then onto Walnut Creek Park on the far side of town. Even though it was early, there were quite a few people out walking, jogging, and riding their bikes too. He was coming down Bryan Avenue, heading towards town, when a pack of bikers flew past him.
On your left, look out!
You know, the guys with the fancy bikes and really tight, bright clothes that most should not be wearing for pretty obvious reasons. The ones riding in packs, that sound like a swarm of hornets and take over most of the road? Yeah, those guys. When he got to Bryan and Main Street, he could see a whole lot of commotion. It seems as if one of those Mr. Package Pants cyclists was trying to keep up with the pack, ran the light, and were hit by a van in the middle of the intersection. There was a whole lot of excitement.
Come on, give him some room here.
And the downed rider didn't look good at all.
Now back up.
There was a pool of blood under his still helmeted head, and his left arm was not in the correct position at all. One of the other riders hurried over to Zach and asked him if he could take a picture of the van's license plate in case the driver tried to leave. He did, as he wanted to do whatever possible to help. When he looked at one of the pictures that had the downed rider in it, he saw that the rider's image was of a half living and half other. The rider passed away in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. Could his lightning-modified H-13 see not only the others who had already passed, but also the ones who were about to die? Zach did not share this shot with anyone else. 5 p.m. rolled around again, and Zach was set up and ready for his mom. Elizabeth, the other, appeared right on time, drinking her cocktail and looking rather blurry. Kinda like an image of an old TV that's not really tuned in that well. Fuzzy, coming in and out.
Mom, it's me, Zach, your son. Can you hear me?
Elizabeth, the other, does not really respond to Zach's inquiries. She seems to be looking off in the distance, perhaps to something or someone that was once there but is no longer with us. He presses her.
Mom, it's me, Zach. Can you hear me?
The other continues drinking her cocktail, not looking at Zach, and staring off in an odd direction.
Mom, you said he killed me. What do you mean by that? Who killed you?
Elizabeth, the other, starts rocking back and forth like a manic person who has to pee.
Mom, who killed you?
All at once, the other turns her head and gazes right back at Zach. She says, and looks in another direction, almost as if she heard someone come into the room. She's looking at something that Zach cannot see. Her face contorted with pain, and she started to scream. She screams and then moans, and her head slumps down. She is completely quiet. She vanishes. That night, Zach again attempts to deconstruct Elizabeth's voice with the SX9 software.
Dad? What? Why? I don't believe it. Dad wouldn't kill you. Dad, let's go for a drive down the coast like we used to.
Zach said to his dad. He wanted to confront his dad and try to get some answers.
Sure, that would be great. A little father and son time.
James said. Early the following morning, they set out on their day trip with a packed lunch that they were to eat at one of their favorite scenic rest stops, the Overlook.
Hey, Zach, can you get a picture of us together so I can share with my friends before we go?
James asked. They took a selfie in front of James' Corvette that he bought after Elizabeth's death to help him forget his pride and joy, and they were off. When they pulled into the overlook, Zach began his line of questioning.
Dad, can you tell me how Mom died again? I've been thinking a lot about her lately.
Well, son, your mom was really, really sick, as you remember, and I guess her body just kind of gave out. Why are you so concerned all of a sudden?
But the doctor told us she was actually beginning to take a turn in the right direction at her last hospital visit. I don't understand. Did you do everything possible to keep Mom alive?
James became aggravated and started to become a little angry.
What do you mean by that? Of course I did whatever I could have done. She was my wife.
Why didn't you call the hospital or an ambulance when she started going?
Let's talk about something else.
No, I want to know the truth.
Now you listen to me. I only ever wanted to help you. Us. To keep us afloat. And put you through college.
Wait, what are you talking about?
She was going to die anyway. Your mother's life insurance was going to run out. And there was no way a new company was going to take her on. I was out of work because of all the time I had to spend with her. We were going into dire straits, son. So I did what I had to do. For us.
You killed Mom? You lousy piece of...
No, I helped her along. For us.
Bullshit. You killed Mom. I'm out of here.
Zach jumped out of the car and stood there dazed.
Zach, please. Try to understand.
No, what you did was immoral, wrong, terrible, and illegal.
Please, Zach, get back in the car and let's talk.
How can you live with yourself? Just for money? Really?
Zach, do what you want. I understand how you feel. But remember, this is our little secret. And no one should hear any of this. And if they do, I will be very, very angry.
I don't know if I can live with the truth like you have. Who are you? What have you become?
Zach walked to the edge of the overlook, looked down at Sheer Face, and then out over the valley where the leaves were just beginning to change. It was beautiful. He was trying to think of what to do about the bombshell his dad had just dumped on him. His H-13 vibrated. It was a text. It said from Mom. There were no words in the text, only the selfie of Zach and his dad they took before they left on the trip. Zach looked at it in horror. In it, James was half alive, half other. In shock, he quickly turned off the phone. The screen went black, and now showed the reflection of James charging at him from behind. He was coming to push Zach off the precipice. Zach spun around to avoid James at the last moment, and in doing so, James, with his murderous momentum, ran off the precipice.
Thanks, Mom.
And so, next time you take yet another selfie, be sure to look out for the others.
Thanks for listening to Hothead Horrors. I release a new tale once a month. Please like and subscribe to keep the horror coming. You can also listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.